Welcome to Starbound Valor HFY. Subscribe now and dive into daily epic sci-fi adventures where humanity always rises. Raxer woke up slowly, his head heavy like a stone and his vision blurry. The room around him was dark, silent, and cold. He tried to move, but his arms were weak, and there was a strange metal band around his wrist. At first, he forgot where he was. Then the memory hit him like a punch. The battle, the explosion, the bright light, and then humans. They captured him. Now he was a prisoner in an unknown place on Earth. He looked around again, this time with fear building inside him. The walls were gray, smooth, and too clean. There was a single light above him, flickering gently like it was breathing. The air smelled strange, like a mix of metal and medicine. He pushed himself up slowly and sat on the small bed attached to the wall. His heart beat fast. He had heard stories about humans, dangerous, wild, unpredictable creatures. His commanders always said humans were monsters with friendly faces. They smile first. They kill later. Raxer swallowed hard. He believed every word. Suddenly, he heard footsteps outside the metal door of the room. Slow, heavy, echoing. Each step felt like a countdown to his death. Raxer froze. His pulse raced. Humans were coming. The lock clicked. The door opened. A bright light spilled into the room, and a tall human guard stepped inside. Raxer expected a weapon pointed at his head. He expected shouting. Pain. But instead, the guard placed a small object on the floor and stepped back. It was a notebook and a pen. Then the guard spoke, his voice calm and almost gentle. Write your thoughts. It will help you. Raxer stared at him, confused. Was this a trick? A trap? Why would they give him something so simple, so harmless? He didn't understand. The guard left without another word. The door closed. The lock clicked again. Silence returned. Raxer picked up the notebook with trembling fingers. The paper felt strange but clean. The pen felt light, almost too light for his alien hands. On the first page, he wrote his first words on Earth, Day 1. Captured by humans. I must escape. His handwriting was shaky. His mind was full of fear, doubt, and anger. Humans were the enemy. He reminded himself. They would try to break him, use him, study him. He would not let that happen. As he wrote more, his hands stopped shaking as much. He wrote about the battle he lost, about his ship crashing, about the humans dragging him out of the burning wreck. He remembered their strange eyes watching him, their voices shouting commands he did not understand. Then he wrote a line that surprised even himself. They did not kill me immediately. Why? He didn't have an answer. Suddenly, he heard soft footsteps again. These were different, lighter, almost careful. The door opened, and this time a woman walked in. She was human, but she did not look like a soldier. Her face was soft, her eyes calm, her hands empty. No armor, no weapon. Raxer felt his body tense. No human would enter a cell without protection unless they had a plan. Unless they were very confident. Or very dangerous. The woman stood at a safe distance and spoke in a quiet voice. My name is Dr. Lena. I am here to talk, not to harm you. Raxer wanted to laugh, but fear stopped him. Talk? No human wanted to talk to an alien prisoner. They wanted information, secrets, technology, something useful. He said nothing. Dr. Lena did not move closer. She simply placed a small tray on the floor with food and water. The food smelled warm and fresh, but Raxer stepped back quickly. Humans poison their enemies. His commanders warned him many times. You must eat, she said gently. Your body is weak. He narrowed his eyes. Why was she being kind? Kindness was a weapon. He knew this. He ignored the food. Dr. Lena simply nodded, as if she expected his reaction. I'll return later, she said, then walked out. The door closed softly behind her. Raxer looked at the food suspiciously. Maybe humans had a different plan. Maybe the poison worked slowly. Maybe this was the start of the psychological torture they were famous for. He wrote again in his diary, "Humans smile before they kill. I cannot trust them." Moments later, the lights flickered twice. A loud alarm began ringing outside the walls. Raxer jumped. The sound was sharp and angry. Footsteps ran past his door. He heard shouting, human voices yelling commands. Something was happening outside. Something dangerous. The entire base felt like it was shaking. Raxer rushed to the small window in the door and tried to look out, but he could only see shadows and bright red lights flashing. He heard an explosion far away, maybe inside the building. Fear wrapped around him. Were humans attacking each other? Were they coming for him? Was this the moment they planned to kill him? Raxer pressed his back against the wall and held the notebook tight like it was a shield. He waited for the door to open, for someone to drag him out, for pain, for death. His breathing grew fast and uneven. Minutes felt like hours. The alarm kept screaming. He whispered to himself, "I must escape. I must escape." But he had nowhere to go, nowhere to run. When the alarm suddenly stopped, the silence felt even louder. Raxer lowered his head. His body was shaking. He did not know if he was safe or if this was just the beginning. He slowly opened the notebook again and wrote one last line for the day. "Humans hide something. I do not know what it is, but I can feel it. Something is coming." He closed the diary with trembling hands as the hallway outside grew quiet again. Too quiet. Then he heard footsteps returning to his door. Raxer stood frozen when the footsteps outside grew louder, steady, and controlled. He expected the same human guard from earlier, the one with the cold expression and heavy boots. But the door opened slowly, almost softly, and this time a different figure entered. It was the same woman from before, Dr. Lena. She walked in with calm steps, her hands open and empty. No armor, no helmet, no weapon. Raxer stared at her, confused and suspicious. In his world, approaching an enemy without protection was madness. It was suicide. Nobody did that unless they were extremely confident or hiding something dangerous. The light above flickered, revealing her gentle eyes that watched him carefully. Not like a hunter. Not like a commander. More like someone studying a frightened creature. The thought made Raxer angry. He was a warrior, not a weak animal. He straightened his back, ignoring the pain in his chest. Dr. Lena spoke in a soft, even voice. "How are you feeling today?" Raxer did not answer. He refused to speak to humans. Speaking meant connection, and connection meant weakness. His commanders taught him that humans used kindness to break the minds of their enemies. Offer comfort, then demand secrets. Offer smiles, then attack the heart. Dr. Lena did not move closer. She simply stood a safe distance away, respecting the invisible line between them. "I know you don't trust us," she continued, "but we won't hurt you." Raxer almost laughed. Humans always lied before they killed. But instead of speaking, he turned his head away. He would not fall into their traps. She placed another tray of food on the ground, the same simple meal as before. Warm bread, water, a small bowl of something that smelled fresh. Raxer felt his stomach twist with hunger, but he kept his face calm. He would not show weakness. Dr. Lena noticed but said nothing. She simply gave a small nod and moved back toward the door. Before leaving, she said, "If you don't want to eat, at least drink water. Not for us. For yourself." Then she left, closing the door gently. No threats. No orders. No anger. Raxer didn't understand it. Humans were confusing. They treated him like both a prisoner and a guest. He stared at the food again. Hunger bit at his insides. But he refused to touch it. He reached for his notebook instead. With shaky, careful strokes, he wrote, "Humans show kindness like a weapon. I must not trust them." The woman came with no weapon. That means she hides something more dangerous. He closed the book, pressing the cover with his palm. He tried to rest, but the noise outside the cell kept him awake. Distant voices. Soft humming machines. The faint sound of doors opening and closing. Humans were always moving. Too active, too unpredictable. Hours passed slowly. Raxer felt the hunger growing stronger. His vision blurred. His head felt light. But he still refused to eat human food. He would rather starve than be poisoned. Suddenly, the door opened again, and this time it was the guard from earlier, Mason. A tall man with tired eyes and an easy smile. He walked in holding the same tray of food but stopped halfway inside the room when Raxer stepped back. Mason raised his hands in surrender. "Easy, big guy. I'm not here to fight you." Raxer narrowed his eyes. Humans always said they came in peace right before they attacked. Mason stepped closer to the tray, knelt down, picked up a piece of bread, and took a bite. Raxer's eyes widened. Mason chewed, swallowed, then took another bite. "See?" the guard said with a small grin. "Not poison. Just boring human food." Raxer felt the ground shift under his thoughts. Humans eating prisoner food? That made no sense. Why would they do that? What trick was this? He didn't move. Didn't speak. Didn't show anything. But deep inside, something cracked. Just a small piece of doubt. Mason stood up, dusting off his hands. "You can eat or not eat. Your choice. I'm not your boss." Then he left with the same relaxed steps, whistling lightly as he walked away. Raxer stared at the tray for a long time. His stomach growled. His chest tightened. After what he saw, the food didn't look dangerous anymore. It looked normal. He hated that. He hated that humans were making him doubt himself. Finally, he reached forward and took a small bite. Just one. Just to survive. The taste was strange but warm. He took another. Then another. Soon, the tray was empty. Raxer wiped his mouth with the back of his hand, ashamed that he needed human food to live. He grabbed the notebook and wrote quickly, "Humans confuse me. They show kindness, not weakness. They do not act like monsters. I do not understand their plan." Hours passed. Raxer tried to sleep, but his mind was full of questions. So many questions he did not want to think about. Late into the night, he heard a scream from somewhere deep in the base. A human scream. Sharp, painful, full of fear. Raxer jumped from his bed. His blood froze. Humans were hurting someone. Or someone was hurting humans. Maybe it was another alien. Maybe it was humans fighting each other. The scream echoed through the metal walls until it faded into silence. Raxer gripped the notebook tightly, his claws digging into the cover. He wrote one final line before the lights dimmed. "Something is wrong in this place. Something I do not understand." Then he closed his eyes, but sleep did not come. Only fear. And questions. Too many questions. Raxer woke with a sharp pain in his stomach, a painful reminder that he had eaten human food the night before. It was the first time he had tasted anything from Earth, and even though his body accepted it, his mind refused. Every time he thought about it, shame crawled up his throat. A warrior of the Zarlan Empire relying on human meals for survival, it felt wrong. It felt weak. Yet hunger did not care about pride. He sat on the cold bed, running his fingers over the metal bracelet locked around his wrist. It was smooth, glowing softly with human technology he could not understand. The humans had placed it on him when he arrived, claiming it was only for monitoring. He believed it was a control device, a hidden chain. Suddenly, the lock on the door clicked again. Raxer tensed. His body straightened like a soldier preparing for an attack. But the door opened slowly, calmly, and Mason, the same guard from yesterday, walked in holding a food tray. Mason smiled like he always did, too calm for someone standing in front of an alien warrior. "Good morning, big guy," Mason said, setting the tray down. "You look better today." Raxer glared at him but said nothing. He refused to show any reaction. Mason tapped the tray. "Don't worry, I already tested this stuff for you yesterday. See? I'm still alive. Raxer didn't respond, but his eyes fell on the food. The warm steam rising from the plate made his stomach twist again. Mason watched him with curiosity, then suddenly did something unexpected. He reached into the tray, grabbed a spoon, scooped the same food, and ate it right in front of Raxer. Raxer's eyes widened just a little. Mason shrugged. Look, if we wanted you dead, we wouldn't use food. We've got easier ways. Raxer flinched. Mason noticed, raising his hands quickly. Relax. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying, you're safe here. Safe. The word echoed in Raxer's mind like a strange sound he didn't understand. A prisoner was never safe. Not in human hands. Not anywhere. Humans were unpredictable. Dangerous. But this one kept doing things that made no sense. He wasn't acting like a guard. He wasn't acting like an enemy. Raxer hesitated for a long moment before finally pulling the tray toward himself. Mason smiled as if he already knew Raxer would eat. Good, Mason said. You need strength. Dr. Lena is coming later. Raxer froze again. The woman with no weapon. The one with soft eyes. The one who entered his cell without fear. He didn't trust her. He didn't trust any of them. But something about her presence stayed in his mind. Mason walked toward the door but turned just before exiting. If you need anything, hit the wall twice. I'll hear it. Raxer did not reply. Mason shrugged and left. The door closed gently, not slammed. No threat. No chains. No shouting. Raxer hated how confusing it all felt. He ate slowly, taking small bites, expecting to feel sick or dizzy. But nothing happened. The food settled in his stomach like normal. He wiped his mouth, looked at the tray, and then at the notebook lying on the bed. He picked it up and opened to a fresh page. His writing from last night stared back at him, sharp, angry strokes filled with fear. He began to write again. The human guard eats my food. He risks himself. Why? This makes no sense. Humans are strange. He paused, thinking deeply. They show kindness. But kindness is dangerous. He closed the notebook and put it aside. Just then, the lights above flickered twice. Raxer looked up sharply. Flickering lights usually meant something was wrong in the base. Before he could think more, the door opened again, quick this time. Dr. Lena entered with fast steps, her face serious. Raxer, she said gently but firmly. I need to check your arm. Raxer stepped back instinctively. She stopped immediately. It's okay, she said softly. I'm not here to hurt you. She pointed to the bracelet on his wrist. The device is scanning your health. It shows your energy levels dropping. You haven't been eating enough. Raxer narrowed his eyes. Your device spies on me. Dr. Lena's eyes softened even more. It keeps you alive. Those words confused him even more than Mason's actions. Why would humans care if he lived or died? What benefit did they gain? He held out his wrist slowly, still unsure. She approached carefully, her movements slow like she was calming a wild animal. She touched the device lightly, pressing a few buttons. The bracelet glowed softly, adjusting itself. Raxer flinched at first but did not pull away. There, she said. It should feel more comfortable. Raxer did not understand. Humans did not treat prisoners like this. Not according to the stories. Not according to everything he had been taught. Dr. Lena stepped back, giving him space. You must keep eating, she said. Your body needs it. He stared at her, silent. Her voice was soft, but not weak. Her eyes held fear, not of him but fear for him. It was strange, very strange. Before he could think of a reply, a sudden alarm blasted through the base. Loud, sharp, urgent. Dr. Lena's eyes widened. Stay here, she said quickly. Do not leave this room. Then she rushed out, closing the door behind her. The red emergency lights began flashing. Raxor's heart pounded. He heard running footsteps, shouts, and the sound of metal doors slamming. The entire base vibrated with danger. He rushed to the small window in the door and tried to see outside. Soldiers sprinted past, weapons ready. Smoke drifted through the hallway. Something was happening. Something big. Something dangerous. Raxor felt fear rising like fire inside him. But this time, he wasn't sure if he feared humans, or something else outside. He grabbed his notebook with shaking hands and wrote quickly, "Humans run. Humans shout. Something is wrong. I can feel danger coming closer. I don't know if humans are the cause, or the victims." He pressed his back to the wall as the alarm continued to scream, the red lights flashing like the heartbeat of the base. Something outside his cell was coming closer. The alarm screamed through the human base like a wounded creature, loud and sharp enough to shake Raxor's bones. Red lights flashed again and again, painting the metal walls with quick bursts of color. Raxor pressed himself against the cold wall, trying to understand what danger was coming. Were humans fighting each other? Was another alien ship attacking? Was he about to be killed in the crossfire? He rushed to the small window in his door again, his heart pounding so hard he could feel it in his throat. Human soldiers ran past in full armor, their boots hitting the floor like drums. They carried heavy weapons and moved fast, shouting orders to each other. Raxor understood none of the words, but he understood the tone, fear mixed with urgency. Something big was happening. Something they did not expect. Something they were scared of. Then the floor shook. A distant explosion sent a wave of dust down the hallway. Raxor stumbled back, grabbing the side of the wall to steady himself. His breathing grew sharp and fast. Another explosion followed. The base trembled. The lights flickered. Raxor felt his legs shaking. His mind raced. His commanders told him stories about humans. They said humans were violent, dangerous, and always fighting among themselves. Was that happening now? Or was something worse coming? Suddenly, the door opened. Raxor tensed, ready to defend himself, but it was Mason, the guard with the tired eyes and calm smile. Except now he wasn't calm. Sweat covered his forehead. His hands shook slightly as he held his weapon. "Listen to me," Mason said quickly. "You need to stay down and stay away from the door." Raxor did not move. His instincts screamed at him to fight or escape, but his body was frozen. Mason stepped farther inside, closing the door behind him but leaving it unlocked. His voice came out fast and tense. "We're under attack. A rogue human group is trying to break into the base." Raxor stared at him, confused. He had heard of human rebels before, small groups who hated their own government. But why would they attack a military base? Mason seemed to read his confusion. They want weapons. They want control. They don't care who they hurt. A loud explosion echoed again, closer this time. Dust fell from the ceiling. Mason flinched. Then he looked at Raxor with serious eyes. "They don't know you're here. And if they find you, they'll kill you." Raxor was shocked. Humans would kill him. Humans who were not even his captors. He didn't understand any of this. Mason quickly moved toward the door. "Stay in here. Don't make noise. Don't draw attention. I'll be back." Before Raxor could ask anything, Mason rushed out, slamming the door behind him. Raxor stood still, listening to the chaos outside. More gunshots. More explosions. Human voices shouting in fear and anger. The entire hallway filled with smoke. His cell felt smaller and smaller, like the walls were closing around him. He grabbed the notebook, his claws shaking, and wrote, "Humans fight humans. They are breaking their own base. They will kill anything in their way. I do not understand this world." A sudden scream cut through the noise, a human scream, full of pain. Raxor's heart jumped. Then he heard footsteps rushing toward his door. He stepped back, ready to defend himself. The door burst open. Dr. Lena stumbled inside, coughing from the smoke. She was not wearing armor. She was not carrying a weapon. She was completely exposed. Raxor stared at her, shocked. She shouldn't be here. She should be hiding somewhere safe. But there she was, standing in front of him. Raxor, she coughed again, struggling to breathe. You have to move. They're coming this way. Another explosion shook the room. Dr. Lena lost her balance and fell. Raxor moved without thinking, grabbing her arm before she hit the floor. She looked up at him, surprised but grateful. Thank you, she whispered. Raxor didn't know why he helped her. It was instinct. She was the only human who spoke softly to him. The only human who touched his wrist gently. The only human who treated him like someone worth saving. Outside the cell, gunfire grew louder. Someone shouted, "They're down this hallway." Dr. Lena's eyes widened. Raxor, listen, if they find you, they won't ask questions. They will shoot you on sight. Raxor's mind spun. Humans were killing each other and would kill him too. None of this made sense. He wasn't ready to die. Not like this. Not in a human base, far from his home. Dr. Lena grabbed his wrist. Please, stay behind me. Don't attack. Don't move unless I say so. Another explosion. The lights died. The hallway became dark except for red emergency lights. Shadows moved outside the door. Raxor held his breath. Dr. Lena stepped in front of him, shielding him with her own body. Raxor froze, stunned. She was protecting him. A human protecting an alien prisoner. He couldn't understand it. Why would she risk her life for him? Why would she shield him from her own people? Footsteps rushed past the door. Shouts moved farther away. The danger slowly faded. After what felt like forever, the alarms stopped. The lights returned. Dr. Lena collapsed onto the floor, exhausted but alive. Raxor stared at her, his mind filled with confusion. Why did you protect me?" he whispered, the words slipping out without permission. Dr. Lena looked up, her breathing heavy. "Because you're alive," she said softly. "And that matters." Raxor didn't know what to say. He grabbed his notebook with trembling hands and wrote the truth. Humans protect even those who cannot help them. This is not weakness. This is something else. He closed the notebook slowly. Something inside him had changed. For the first time, he began to doubt everything he thought he knew about humans. Raxor sat silently in his cell, the echoes of the attack still shaking inside his mind. Even though the alarms had stopped and the explosions were gone, the memory of Dr. Lena standing in front of him like a shield burned inside him. A human, a member of the species he believed were monsters, risked her life to protect him. He could still feel the warmth of her hand on his wrist when she pulled him behind her. It made no sense. Nothing in this place made sense. Hours passed in a heavy silence. The smoke from the attack had cleared, but the smell of burnt metal and fear still floated in the air. Raxor sat on the bed with his notebook open, staring at the last line he wrote, "Humans protect even those they do not need." He didn't know what that meant for him. He didn't know what he was supposed to think anymore. Suddenly, the door opened with a slow, heavy creak. Raxor expected Mason or Dr. Lena, but instead someone new entered. A tall, older man in a dark uniform with silver lines on his shoulders. His face was serious, his posture strong, his eyes sharp but not cruel. He walked inside with a calm confidence, like a leader who carried many secrets. "Raxor," he said in a deep voice. "My name is General Hawk." Raxor straightened, feeling a wave of tension. This human was different. This one held power. This one had authority. General Hawk walked to the small table in the corner and placed a single folder on it. He took a seat, folding his hands calmly. "You already know we captured you," the general said. "But what you don't know is why we haven't interrogated you." Raxor's eyes narrowed. His commanders told him humans interrogated prisoners immediately, using pain and fear to get answers. But these humans did none of that. No torture. No forced questions. No threats. Only food, quiet words, and strange kindness. General Hawk slid the folder toward him. "Open it," he said. Raxer hesitated but finally stepped forward and picked up the folder. Inside were several images, alien ships, alien weapons, and a large dark creature Raxer did not recognize. His heartbeat quickened. "This," the general said, pointing at a photograph of the dark creature, "attacked one of our outposts last week. We believe your empire created it." Raxer shook his head quickly. "No, I have never seen this." The general watched his reaction closely. "We believe you," he said, "because our experts saw your reaction. You were shocked. That is why I am here." Raxer looked confused. Why would the human leader care about his reaction? Why show him these things? Why trust him? The general leaned forward. "We need your help." The words hit Raxer like a sudden storm. Help humans? Help the enemy? His mind screamed no. But the general continued. "We believe something bigger is happening. Something dangerous. Something even your leaders might fear." Raxer felt his chest tighten. His commanders always spoke with pride, confidence, and control. They never spoke of fear. He looked again at the picture of the dark creature. It looked like nothing from his world. Nothing from any world he studied. Something powerful. Something deadly. General Hawk folded his arms. "You were abandoned." Raxer's eyes widened sharply. He stepped back, muscles tensing. The general continued, "Your commander sent us a message. They said you were lost in battle. They said you were not important. They made no effort to retrieve you." Raxer felt a stab of pain in his chest, not physical, but emotional. Betrayal cut deeper than any wound. His own people abandoned him, left him to die on a strange planet, called him unimportant. His throat tightened. He didn't want to believe it, but he knew it was true. His commander never came. His ship never returned. Nobody sent a rescue message. He was alone. Truly alone. General Hawk spoke gently, surprising Raxer again. "We do not want to use you. We want to work with you. You help us understand this new threat, and we keep you safe." Safe. The word felt strange in Raxer's mind. He never felt safe since the crash. Not even with his own people. But the humans, Dr. Lena and Mason, treated him like someone worth saving. Raxer shook his head. "Why would you trust me? I am your enemy." The general nodded slowly. "Maybe. Maybe not. Sometimes the enemy of my enemy becomes my ally." Raxer stared at the images again. The dark creature's empty white eyes made him feel cold. It looked like it did not belong anywhere. Not to humans, not to aliens. Something new. Something dangerous. Raxer closed the folder slowly and looked at the general. "If I help you," he said carefully, "what do you give me?" General Hawk stood and extended his hand. "Respect," he said. "Safety. And a chance to survive." Raxer looked at the human's hand. His claws twitched. He didn't understand humans. Not fully. But these humans were not what he expected. Not monsters. Not cruel. Not what he was trained to fear. They were something else. Something strange. Something confusing. Raxer took a slow breath. He did not shake the hand yet, but he nodded once. It was a small nod. A careful nod. But it changed everything. General Hawk nodded back. "Then we start tomorrow," he said, stepping toward the door. "Rest. You will need it." The door closed behind him, leaving Raxer alone again. Raxer sat on the bed, picked up his notebook, and wrote slowly, "Humans ask for help. They offer safety. My own people abandoned me. I do not know who the enemy is anymore." He closed the book and held it tight. For the first time, he realized something terrifying. He didn't know where he belonged. The alien sat alone in the quiet human room, staring at the small window where evening light slowly faded. His hands shook again, not from fear this time, but from the strange weight in his chest. He had written many pages in his secret diary, and each page changed him a little more. But now, as part 6 of his story began, he felt something new rising inside him. It was not terror. It was not anger. It was something that none of his training had prepared him for. It all started that morning, when the humans took him to a different part of the base, a place he had never seen before. General Harris walked ahead, silent and serious, while 2 guards followed behind. The alien felt his heartbeat rise, thinking maybe this was the day they would finally question him harder, maybe even break him. But when the doors opened, he froze. Inside was a huge hall filled with screens, maps, strange glowing lines, and symbols he did not understand. Many humans stood inside, all wearing uniforms. Every one of them turned to look at him. For a moment, he thought they wanted to show him their military plans to confuse or pressure him. But then he noticed something shocking. They were not afraid of him anymore. They were not angry. They were simply curious. A woman with glasses stepped toward him. "We need his help," she said quietly to the general. The alien's eyes widened. Help? Why would humans need help from a prisoner of war? He had no idea what was happening. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed through the hall, and the screens turned red. A symbol appeared on them, and the alien felt his stomach drop. He knew that mark. It belonged to his own people. His army. His fleet. They were approaching Earth. Fast. He stared at the flashing symbol, unable to move. His people were coming, not to rescue him, but to destroy humans before humans could learn too much. He knew exactly what that meant. A cleansing strike. Total destruction. The human generals whispered among themselves urgently. "Is it real?" one asked. "How long until they reach Earth?" another said. A voice from the back answered, 40 hours. Maybe less." The alien felt his breath catch. He remembered the stories. He remembered the warnings. His commanders had told them that humans were dangerous creatures who must be wiped out before they grew stronger. But now, standing in a room full of humans who had fed him, spoken kindly to him, protected him, even after everything, he felt a deep confusion. His heart felt heavy. General Harris looked at him. His voice was low but steady. "You know that symbol. You know what's coming." The alien could not lie. His throat tightened as he nodded slowly. Gasps filled the room. The general folded his arms. "Tell me," he said, "is there any way to stop them?" The alien hesitated. He was torn between loyalty to his people and the strange connection he had formed with humans. He remembered Commander Rena's kindness. He remembered the food, the conversations, the small gifts they gave him. Humans treated him like a person, not a monster. His own army, in contrast, wanted him dead if he failed. The alien closed his eyes. His voice shook as he said, "There is one way, but you will not like it." Everyone leaned closer. "If your planet sends a signal, a surrender signal, my fleet might delay the attack," he said. "They might wait for orders." The room fell silent. The general shook his head. "We will not surrender our planet," he said firmly. The alien knew he would say that. Humans were not the surrender type. The woman with glasses spoke again. "Is there anything else?" The alien swallowed. "Yes," he whispered. "But it is dangerous." He told them about a communication code used only by high command officers from his world. It was a code that could redirect the fleet or at least confuse them. But only a commander-level alien could send it. And the only commander-level alien on Earth was him. "If I send this message, they will think I betrayed them," he said softly. "I will be a traitor forever." General Harris did not force him. He did not threaten him. He simply said, "You must choose. But whatever you decide, understand something." The general stepped forward until he stood right in front of the alien. His voice was low but powerful. "We do not want your world destroyed. And we do not want ours destroyed either. But if your fleet attacks us—" He paused. The room felt colder. "We will defend ourselves. And we will win." The alien felt a chill. Because he believed it. Humans were not the weak creatures his people described. They were strong in a terrifying, unpredictable way. He had seen their courage, their fire, their unity. They were the one species the galaxy could not break. And now, he had to decide whether to save them, or step aside and let the attack happen. That night, he returned to his room with a storm inside him. His hands trembled as he opened his diary. He wrote quickly, his words uneven. "My people are coming to destroy Earth. Humans do not know fear the way we thought. They face danger with open eyes and steady hearts. I do not know what I must do. If I help humans, I betray my own world. If I stay loyal, I let innocent humans die. I am trapped between two truths. I feel something human inside me now, and it terrifies me more than death." When he finished writing, he stared at the door. He knew that tomorrow, humans would ask for his final decision. And whatever choice he made would change the fate of two worlds forever. That night felt longer than any night the alien had ever experienced. He sat on the small human bed, staring at the ceiling while the faint sound of guards walking in the hallway echoed outside. His heart was heavy, and his mind kept spinning in circles. He had never been allowed to choose anything in his life. His commanders always ordered. His duty was simple: obey. But now, for the first time, he had a real choice. And it was a choice that could destroy either his own people or the humans who had shown him unexpected kindness. When the sun finally rose, soft light poured through the window, and his room door opened slowly. Commander Rena stepped inside. She looked tired, as if she had not slept at all. She handed him a metal cup with warm water. "Drink," she said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes carried worry. He took the cup with shaking hands. After a moment of silence, she finally asked, "Have you decided?" The alien looked down. His throat tightened. "No," he whispered. Rena sighed softly and sat across from him. "Listen," she said. "We are not forcing you. But we need to know the truth. If your fleet arrives, Earth will be in danger. We need to prepare." The alien raised his eyes. "Prepare," he repeated slowly. "You think you can fight them?" Rena nodded. "We will fight anyone who tries to destroy us." The alien felt a strange pain in his chest. He remembered how humans had treated him, how they fed him, how they spoke to him gently, how they tried to understand him instead of torture him. He never expected such behavior from a species labeled as dangerous by his empire. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but they were also compassionate. "Your people might die," he said quietly. Rena looked him in the eye. "And your people might die too," she replied. "War kills everyone." Her words struck him like a blade. War kills everyone. That was something he had seen his whole life but never felt so deeply until now. Before he could answer, General Harris entered the room. His face was serious, but not angry. "We just received new readings," he said. "Your fleet has accelerated. They will reach Earth even faster than we thought." The alien's breath froze. "How long?" he asked. 20 hours, Harris replied. The alien stood up slowly, his legs weak. 20 hours. That was not enough time for anything. Not enough time for defenses. Not enough time for peace talks. Not enough time for him to escape. Harris folded his arms. "We need your answer soon," he said. "But know this, whatever you choose, we will not forget your actions. Good or bad." Then the general left. The room became painfully silent. Rena touched the alien's arm gently. "Walk with me," she said. He followed her through the hallways. Humans passing by looked at him, not with hate, but with a mixture of fear and hope. He had never seen hope in anyone's eyes before. She took him outside to the training field, where human soldiers ran drills. They looked strong, determined, united. For a moment, the alien imagined them facing his fleet. The idea made his stomach twist. Then he heard laughter. He turned and saw two young soldiers sitting under a tree, sharing food. One noticed him and quickly offered him a piece of bread, smiling. The alien hesitated, then took it. It was warm and soft, like something made with care. "Why are they not afraid of me?" he asked Rena quietly. Rena smiled. "Some are afraid. Some are not. But most humans believe everyone deserves a chance." A chance. That was something his empire never gave. Everyone either obeyed or died. Earth was different. Humans, he realized, fought only when forced. They protected their own, but they were also willing to see the good in others. He felt his heart squeeze again. He knew what he had to do, but he was terrified to accept it. Later that day, they brought him to the communication chamber. Screens glowed around him. A single device sat on a metal table, an alien transmitter they had found inside his crashed escape pod. Only someone of his rank could activate it. The room was filled with high-ranking humans. The air was thick with tension. General Harris stepped forward. "This is your choice," he said. "We will not force you. But your fleet will destroy millions. You know that better than we do." The alien swallowed hard. His hands trembled as he touched the device. The metal felt cold, like frozen fear. He closed his eyes. He imagined his home world, his commanders, the soldiers who once fought beside him. He imagined the pride in their eyes if he stayed loyal. He imagined their rage if he betrayed them. Then he imagined humans, their kindness, their courage, the way they treated him like a person, not a tool. He imagined their faces if he chose to do nothing. Slowly, he opened his eyes. "If I send the code," he said, "your world may be safe, but mine will hunt me forever." Harris looked at him with steady eyes. "Then we will protect you," he said. "As one of us." Those words broke something inside the alien. He had never heard such a promise before. Not from anyone. His hands moved on their own. His fingers entered the command sequence. A sharp beep filled the room. He entered the high-level override code, something only elite officers knew. Warning lights flashed. The device asked for a final confirmation. His heart pounded. Humans watched with silent hope. He whispered, "Forgive me." Then he pressed the final button. A powerful signal shot into space. A message that would confuse, delay, and disrupt his entire fleet. A message only a traitor would send. A message that could save Earth. The room held its breath. The alien stepped back, breathing hard, feeling as if his soul had cracked open. "It is done," he whispered. Harris exhaled. Rena placed a hand on his shoulder. But deep inside, the alien knew something terrible. His people would receive that message. They would know exactly who sent it. And they would come for him. And Part 7 ended with one chilling truth. Earth was safe for now, but the true danger for him had just begun. The alien sat in silence, staring at the blinking lights on the device he had just activated. His heart still pounded from the decision he had made, but a cold fear had replaced the adrenaline. Earth was safe, at least for now, but he knew his own people would discover the betrayal soon. The thought made his stomach churn. He could feel it coming: anger, punishment, maybe even death. He glanced around at the humans in the room. General Harris stood with arms crossed, calm but watchful. Dr. Lena, sitting quietly nearby, gave him a small, reassuring smile. Mason leaned against the wall, pretending to be relaxed, but his eyes were alert, scanning every corner. The alien felt torn. He had saved a world he did not belong to, betrayed the one that raised him, and for what? For humans who smiled at him, offered food, and risked their lives? For humans who were unpredictable, strange, and terrifying? But as he looked at them, he realized something he had never understood before. Humans were not monsters. They were strong, yes, and dangerous, but they were more than that. They cared. They fought not only for power but for survival, for each other. And somehow, they had earned his trust in a way no one from his empire ever had. Just as he allowed himself to feel that, an alarm blared. Red lights filled the chamber, urgent and relentless. The alien jumped to his feet. "What now?" he whispered. Harris spoke quickly. "Your fleet has detected the signal. They know someone betrayed them. They are sending a strike team to locate you. They will arrive on Earth in less than 10 hours. The alien felt a cold dread settle over him. He had delayed the fleet, disrupted their attack, but now the hunters were coming. And they would not stop for anything. "How?" he whispered. "How can they find me so fast?" Harris shook his head. "They have advanced sensors and faster ships. They will track the signal. You are their priority." The alien's mind raced. His choices had saved millions of humans, but now he had marked himself as a traitor. Every instinct he had trained in his life screamed at him to flee, to hide, to fight. But where could he go? The humans who protected him could only do so much. Outside the base, Earth was still vulnerable, and the alien realized that the real battle had just begun. Suddenly, Dr. Lena stepped forward. "We need to move you," she said urgently. "There is a hidden location, deep underground. If we can get you there, the strike team will take longer to reach you. Maybe even fail." The alien nodded. Fear made his movements sharp and precise. He followed her quickly, the device secured in a backpack they had prepared for him. Mason led the way, clearing the hallways, and soldiers moved with quiet efficiency around them. The journey through the base was tense. Every shadow, every echo made the alien flinch. He had trained for war, but this was different. The enemy was invisible, relentless, and smarter than anyone he had faced before. They had sensors, speed, and the determination to kill him. Every second mattered. Finally, they reached a secure elevator. Dr. Lena entered the code, and the metal doors closed with a hiss. The alien pressed his back against the wall, breathing hard. "How long until we reach the underground facility?" he asked. 10 minutes, Lena replied. "But stay alert. We don't know if their scouts are already here." 10 minutes. Felt like a lifetime. The elevator shook as it descended. The lights flickered twice. For a moment, the alien felt vertigo, like the ground had disappeared beneath him. But he forced himself to steady his breathing. He had survived worse. He had survived battles, explosions, and betrayals. He could survive this. When the doors opened, the group stepped into a vast underground chamber. Machines hummed quietly, lights glowed softly along the walls, and security systems blinked in patterns the alien could not decipher. "This is it," Harris said. "You will be safe here for now. But we must prepare for the strike team. They will come for you." The alien felt a chill. His chest tightened. He had expected safety, but even here, the hunters could reach him if they were fast. Lena walked to him and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You did the right thing," she said softly. "Earth is alive because of you. We will do everything we can to protect you." The alien's throat tightened. He wanted to trust her, to believe it, but fear clung to him like a shadow. Hours passed. The humans monitored every sensor, every communication channel. The alien sat silently, watching them work. He felt powerless yet needed at the same time. Every sound outside the facility made him tense. Every vibration in the ground sent his heart racing. Then the first report came. "They are here," Mason whispered, barely moving his lips. "Small scouting ships, approaching from orbit. They are fast and well-armed." The alien felt the panic rise. He had delayed his fleet before, but they were relentless. They had learned. They would not hesitate to kill. "We must go to the inner chamber," Harris said, moving quickly. "It is the only place where the device can be fully protected." The group moved through narrow corridors, the alien's claws scraping lightly against the metal floor. Outside, he could hear the distant hum of approaching ships, faint but growing louder. Red lights flashed as the facility went into lockdown. Security doors slammed shut behind them. The alien felt trapped. Not physically, but mentally. Every second could be his last. Every move could determine whether Earth survived or fell to fire and destruction. He pressed his back to the wall and opened his notebook, writing quickly, "They are coming. My people will not forgive me. But Earth will live because I chose differently. I am not safe. But they are. That is all that matters." Just as he finished, the ground trembled. Something massive was approaching the facility from above. The aliens' eyes widened. The strike team had arrived. And Part 8 ended with one terrifying truth. The hunters were here, and no one inside the underground base could escape them. The alien crouched in the inner chamber, his eyes fixed on the blinking monitors as the approaching ships drew closer. Every panel showed small dots racing through orbit, precise and calculated. His chest thumped painfully. He had faced countless battles before, but this was different. He was no longer fighting for glory or duty. He was fighting to save humans who had shown him kindness, and to protect a planet that was not his own. Outside the thick reinforced walls, the alien fleet scouted and searched, using sensors that could detect even the smallest movement inside the base. He pressed his claws against the console, trying to understand the data, but the symbols and numbers blurred in his mind. Mason crouched beside him, whispering updates, while Dr. Lena adjusted controls with careful hands. General Harris stood behind them, calm but tense, issuing orders to the security personnel around the chamber. "They're in orbit now," Mason said, voice low. "We have maybe 30 minutes before they try an attack run. They're scanning for life signs and devices. They will find him soon if we are not careful." The alien's eyes widened. 30 minutes. That was too short. Too fast. Too little time to escape if things went wrong. He turned to Harris. "They will know I am here. My presence is a beacon." Harris nodded. "We know. That is why you must stay here. The inner chamber shields you and the device. If they try to penetrate, we have defenses ready." The alien gritted his teeth. He hated waiting. He wanted to fight. He wanted to take control. But he knew the humans were right. Every wrong move now could cost Earth millions of lives. Outside, the hum of the approaching ships grew louder. He could feel it in the metal floor beneath him. The chamber vibrated lightly as the orbiting fleet scanned and adjusted. Then, a sudden alarm blared. Red lights flashed violently. Mason's eyes went wide. "They found the outer perimeter," he shouted. The alien's tail twitched. He had expected this. He had always known his people would not forgive betrayal easily. The first wave of scouts had already detected the base, and now they were preparing a landing. Harris barked orders, and humans ran through the chamber, activating shields, closing doors, and powering energy barriers. The alien could see the screens showing alien soldiers in hovering crafts, weapons ready, moving down toward the facility. His stomach clenched. He had seen warriors like them before, ruthless, disciplined, deadly. And now they were here, just for him. Dr. Lena placed a hand on his arm. "Stay calm," she said, though her voice shook slightly. "We have defenses. We can protect you if we act together." The alien took a deep breath. He could feel the fear, but also a strange courage rising inside him. He was fighting not for orders, not for pride, not for empire, but for a chance to protect a world that trusted him, even when he did not trust himself. Outside, the first attack began. The sound of energy blasts shook the outer walls. Sparks flew, alarms screamed, and the lights flickered under the strain. Mason shouted updates, running from console to console. "They're trying to breach the outer shields. Keep the inner barriers up." The alien focused on the device before him. It was a beacon, yes, but it was also the key to confusing the fleet, delaying them further. His claws flew over the controls, sending signals, activating decoys, and scrambling detection arrays. One by one, the incoming scouts collided with invisible barriers, some exploding violently in space. Harris barked more orders. "Deploy all countermeasures. Focus on slowing them. Keep the inner chamber secure." The alien felt sweat drip down his face. The tension was unbearable. Every second could be the last. The air smelled of smoke, ozone, and metal. The sound of alarms mixed with explosions created a terrifying rhythm. Then, suddenly, a larger shadow appeared on the monitor. A massive flagship from his fleet descended from orbit. Its size dwarfed anything he had ever seen. It was fully armed, and it was scanning aggressively for life forms. The alien's stomach sank. He recognized the symbol on the hull. His commanders. The strike team had come. They were not scouts. They were warriors sent to retrieve or destroy him. Harris looked at the monitors. "This is the main ship," he said quietly. "We have defenses, but if they find the inner chamber, it could be over." The alien's mind raced. He had delayed the attack once, but could he do it again? Could he stop his own people from destroying Earth? Outside, the flagship moved closer, releasing a small fleet of fighters. Their speed was terrifying. The monitors showed them weaving, scanning, weapons ready. The alien pressed his palms against the console, activating the final layer of the scrambling system. Sparks flew from the panels as the energy load increased. Mason yelled, "The inner shield is holding, but barely." The alien felt a surge of determination. He could not fail. He would not fail. This was not about loyalty anymore. This was about survival, strategy, and courage. Every move counted. He manipulated the device, sending false signals, creating phantom readings, and masking their true location. Outside, the incoming fleet reacted, firing at empty spaces, chasing ghosts. Harris smiled briefly. "It's working. Keep it up." But the flagship was clever. It adjusted, scanned deeper, analyzing patterns. The alien felt his claws tighten on the controls. One wrong calculation, one missed sequence, and the enemy would find them. The tension was unbearable. He could hear Dr. Lena and Mason breathing hard, coordinating with him. The humans around him moved with calm precision, trusting him despite the danger. For the first time, he felt part of something. Not as a prisoner, not as a spy, not as a warrior, but as a protector. Hours passed in a blur. The flagship attempted to adapt, sending advanced sensors closer, probing the facility. The inner chamber trembled under the strain. The alien's mind screamed, his fingers bled from the rapid commands, but still he continued. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the flagship paused, confused by the phantom signals. The decoys had worked, at least for now. The alien exhaled sharply. Harris clapped him on the shoulder. "You've bought us time," he said. "They will be delayed for hours." The alien looked at the monitors, sweat dripping from his face, and wrote in his notebook quickly, "They came for me, my people. But they do not know where I am. Earth is alive. For now. But the hunters are patient, and they will return. I am safe only for a little while. The real battle has not begun. The war is only starting." And Part 9 ended with a terrifying thought burning in his mind. Time was against him, and the predators he had betrayed were closing in faster than anything he had faced before. The alien sat in the dim glow of the inner chamber, exhaustion pressing on him like a weight he could not lift. His hands trembled, his claws scraped lightly against the metal floor, and his breathing came in sharp bursts. Hours of controlling the device, scrambling signals, and guiding the humans had drained every ounce of energy from him, but there was no time to rest. Outside, the orbiting fleet of his own people had not given up. They had been delayed, yes, but now they were adjusting, preparing a full-scale assault to locate him no matter what decoys or false signals he created. He looked around the chamber, at General Harris, Dr. Lena, and Mason, who were all tense but determined. Their calm in the face of imminent destruction gave him a strange feeling of hope he had never felt before. The inner shields glowed faintly around them, humming as they absorbed the growing energy waves of the incoming strike team. "We have less than 12 hours, Mason said quietly, checking the monitors. "They've started deploying heavy ships closer to the atmosphere. If they breach the outer defense, they will reach us fast." The alien swallowed hard. 12 hours. That was too short. He had delayed them before, but the main fleet would not be fooled easily. Every calculation had to be perfect, every signal precise. One wrong move, and they would find him. And if they found him, death was certain. Dr. Lena stepped beside him, her hand brushing lightly against his arm. "You've done more than anyone could expect," she said softly. "Earth is alive because of you. We can hold them for now, but only you can keep them from finding the inner chamber." The alien looked at her, a mix of gratitude and fear in his eyes. He had saved humans who had once terrified him, and now he had to continue saving them from the army he was born to serve. Every instinct screamed to run, to hide, to protect himself, but he could not. He would not. Outside, the sensors beeped frantically. The alien's eyes widened. "They are analyzing the decoys," he whispered. "They are learning. They will adjust soon." Harris stepped forward. "We know. That is why every second counts. You must keep the device active. We cannot allow them to see through it." The alien's claws flew over the controls, sweat dripping down his face. Each command, each adjustment, had to be perfect. Every moment brought the enemy closer, every second felt like an eternity. Then, suddenly, a deep vibration shook the facility. The inner chamber's lights flickered violently. Harris shouted orders, and the humans rushed to reinforce barriers. The alien felt his stomach tighten. The flagship had descended into the lower atmosphere, massive and terrifying. Its presence alone distorted the magnetic fields, sending tremors through the base. The alien knew it was time for a final, decisive action. He closed his eyes and focused. The device before him was more than a transmitter. It was a key. A key to confuse, delay, and redirect the fleet entirely. He had done this before, but never under such pressure. He imagined his people's fleet, the countless ships and warriors he had known, and the lives they could destroy if he failed. Then he imagined the humans outside, soldiers, scientists, civilians, counting on him. That thought made his claws steady. He activated the final sequence. Lights blinked rapidly, machines hummed loudly, and sparks flew from overloaded circuits. Outside, the flagship paused, scanning the area with its massive sensors. The alien's hands moved faster than ever, inputting commands that only a high-ranking officer of his kind could know. The fleet reacted, sending probes and fighters, but each signal they detected led them away from the inner chamber, chasing illusions. Harris shouted with relief. "It's working. They're being misled. Keep it going." The alien did not relax. He felt exhaustion crushing him, but he knew this was not over. Hours passed like minutes. The fleet adjusted, analyzing patterns, learning from mistakes. But the alien stayed focused, every thought on maintaining the deception. Then, from the corner of his eye, he saw something new, a small ship slipping past the outer defenses. Its speed and design marked it as elite. Someone had bypassed the decoys. His chest tightened. The flagship had sent an elite strike team, the fastest warriors, the most skilled hunters. They were coming straight for him. He felt a surge of fear unlike anything before. His tail curled tightly around his legs, his claws dug into the metal floor. Dr. Lena and Mason moved beside him, ready to defend, but this was no ordinary attack. This was personal. The alien had betrayed his people, and they had come to punish him. He adjusted the device, sending new signals, creating multiple phantom locations. The elite ship approached, scanning, firing energy bursts that exploded harmlessly against the outer barriers. Sparks flew, alarms screamed, but the inner chamber held. The alien's breathing was rapid. His mind raced. He had never felt so alive, so terrified, so responsible. Every calculation, every command, every second determined life or death. Hours seemed like days, but slowly, the elite team began to falter. Confused by the phantom signals, they miscalculated their path and collided with each other in orbit. The alien allowed himself a brief glance at Harris. "It's working," he whispered, voice hoarse. Harris nodded but did not relax. "Not yet. They will return. We must stay vigilant." The alien sank to the floor for a moment, clutching the device. Exhaustion threatened to overtake him, but he could not stop. "Not yet." He picked up his notebook and wrote quickly, "They came for me. I betrayed my own people. I am a traitor forever. But Earth is alive. For now. I am not safe, but they will have to fight to reach me. Every second I survive, every command I send, I protect those who trusted me. I am not a hero. I am not free. I am a traitor. But I am necessary. The monitors flashed again. More enemy ships appeared, but each one moved slower, misled by the device. The alien looked at the humans around him, and for the first time, he felt part of something larger than himself. They had trusted him, protected him, and relied on him. And he would not fail them. Not now. Not ever. The room was tense, alive with the hum of machines and the fear of approaching enemies. But the alien knew something. Earth could survive, because he had chosen to act. He had chosen life over loyalty to a cruel empire. And as the last part of his secret diary closed, the alien wrote one final line. I betrayed my people, I risked my life, I trusted humans, and for the first time, I understand them. Earth is alive, and I will fight to keep it that way, no matter the cost. Outside, the stars were filled with approaching hunters, and the alien knew the war was far from over. But for now, he had won. And Part 10 ended with a chilling truth. The galaxy had just met a new force, one who would not bow to empire, one who would fight for the innocent, one alien who had chosen humanity over all else.